Hey, Barry here, and we've got a very big week ahead for you. In fact, this is just our opportunity just to thank you for being part of our membership. And what I wanted to do is to really sort of like dig in and provide you with some really amazing value this week that's going to be rather unique as just a token of our appreciation for you and what you do for being part of our community. We don't take you for granted. In fact, it means a great deal that you join us. And we have so many members that join us every single week, every single other week, every single month, and join us for the various training programs that we put on and for the live training events that we also put on. So this is just our way of giving back. And I wanted to start with something rather poignant. And this is what I believe is perhaps one of the, if not the last, interviews that J. Conrad Levinson ever did. If you don't know who J. Conrad Levinson is, you know the Marlboro Man, you know Tony the Tiger, and I'm sure you know about guerrilla marketing. That's Jay. Jay created all these great things. And what Jay had more than anything else was time for everyone. He gave me his precious time and basically gave me the confidence and the skill set to go from zero to knowing that I can eventually did build a hugely successful business. None of that probably would have happened without his interaction, his care, to detail, and for his absolute kindness. So there's a little bit of a dedication to my late and great friend J. Conrad Levinson. Right now, you can listen to one of the last interviews that he ever did. This is the gift that J. Conrad Levinson left behind. Now, you can ignore the last couple of minutes. It does connect with one of our products. Don't worry about that. But I do want you to listen to at least the first 40 odd minutes or so. This is great stuff. So without any further ado, this is your opportunity to listen to the late and great Mr. J. Conrad Levinson.
Okay, I just want to make sure, guys, before, yes, this is being recorded. We don't want to miss this one. All right, here we go. So the first major question that I've seen, Jay, and we've asked people to write in and ask their questions, is there seems to be a lot of people that feel they lack confidence. They lack real self-belief in what they're doing. Everyone on this call, every single person on this call is a marketer. Most of them are marketing online. There's a group of them that are also marketing to local businesses. But I think an overriding issue for a lot of people, not everyone, is a lack of confidence, the self-belief. When you hear that in a marketer, can you perhaps help us understand where that may be coming from? And most importantly, what people could be doing to overcome that lack of self-belief and self-confidence?
I think one of the most misunderstood topics on planet Earth is marketing. People know the word, they really don't know what the powers and the limitations are. In order to gain confidence, you don't go for the big hit and the big success, because if you don't get it, you're going to lose confidence because it didn't work out for you. Instead, you should go for small efforts, small successes, small victories. If you get those small victories one at a time, each one will build your confidence. And that confidence will have beneath it a firm foundation. It won't just come from an act of faith, which isn't enough in marketing. It will come from the reality of you trying it, seeing what didn't work, what did work, and building on the things that did work. And those are the ways that you gain confidence. That's one of the reasons that it's so important for a person to have a mentor, because those mentors went through the steps that I just mentioned. They didn't start out as the superstar successes that they are now. They built piece by piece until their self-confidence was richly deserved. And if you can lean on that, that's a way that you can use mentors to build your confidence level. And you've got to have patience because it does not happen instantly. So I think that's the main reason people lack confidence. Another reason, which is enormous and depressingly, it's a depressing reason, is that people do everything right and they expect to get the proper results they want in a hurry. Here's an important message that I have to impart. It does not happen in a hurry. If you expect marketing to work in a hurry, you ought to really have gone into farming instead. You plant the seed, you nourish the seed, you harvest, and then eventually you have results. Notice it didn't happen in a hurry. And yet people think that in marketing, they can have miracle results fast. It just doesn't work like that. Few things really do. But marketing, of all, requires you to have the patience and to realize that if you're doing everything right, perhaps all the dreams you have for yourself will come true. But they won't happen overnight, and they won't happen the next day or the week after that. They'll happen eventually. And if you're keeping track, then you'll realize that these things are beginning to happen, and they happen in slow motion. I have 104 books in publication right now. I couldn't write them all at once. I had to write them one at a time. I had to promote them one at a time. I had to speak on them one at a time. And eventually they add up. The same thing will happen to everybody on this call who feels they are lacking confidence. They go about things in the right way. They stick with those things, and they hang in there, continuing to do the right things. Aristotle said that excellence is not a point you achieve. It's a habit you get into. And if you get into the habit of excellence and all that you are offering to your audience, they're going to have confidence in you. You're going to have confidence in yourself. And all the things you dreamt that should happen will happen. But notice, it does not happen instantly. Guerrilla marketing, or indeed almost all marketing, is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-rich-quick, it's a get-rich eventually scheme. It's a get-rich for certain idea, but speed and instant results are not part of it.
I mean, that's a huge point. Roger, I just want to bring you in for a second because let's just be brutally honest about this. Unfortunately, especially on the internet, you hear these quick, get-rich-quick schemes and make money in your underwear in less than an hour and all this nonsense. And what it does is not only is it unrealistic, but what it generates are students that are absolutely guaranteed to lose confidence in what they're doing and to believe that they're not cut out for this. You and I have experienced that. We've wasted thousands upon thousands of dollars years back when we got involved with internet marketing, going down that route. And we know that so many people have gone that route. So when Jay says, let's just get to the core of this issue, number one, get a proper mentor. Don't listen to the fools and the charlatans. Number two, accept to build a business doesn't happen in your underwear overnight or in an hour. You need to create a process and you need to be consistent. If only I knew that several years ago, I would never have had my 4 streams, and things would have speeded up a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, guys, you guys are a lot on the Warrior Forum. It's all a lot of charlatans, people trying to get you to make thousands of dollars in your underwear for next to no work, and it's that big promise. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of work, and what Jay just said is absolutely true. It is not a race that you win overnight. It's the small successes that start to add up and pile up, where you start getting more and more self-confidence, and that's when you can start taking on bigger projects. So I appreciate that, Jay. That was very insightful.
Okay, guys, I just want to make it clear. Jay's is not gonna. He's not saying things that everyone wants to hear. He's saying the truth. This is experience with someone that's been in marketing. Jay, 60 years, would you say?
60 years of what?
In marketing. You've probably been marketing over 55 years. You've been marketing. I mean, you've been involved with some of the biggest marketing campaigns in history. Tony the Tiger, the Marlboro Man, things like that. Obviously, what you're bringing to the table here is years of experience.
Since 1958. That's
wow.
when I got my feet wet in marketing.
1958. Oh my goodness, unbelievable. Okay, Jay, let's move on. And I've seen a lot of people asking the question. By the way, if you can again speak into the phone as much as possible for whatever reason, we don't have a very strong line. And maybe Roger, when Jay is speaking, we should just mute our own microphones so we can reduce any background noise. Here's the second thing I've noticed that members of our community have been asking. A lot of people feel they've been unsuccessful or not as successful as they could be. Could you perhaps pinpoint, Jay, without obviously speaking to any individual directly, but in your vast experience, what do you think are the 2 or 3 biggest reasons out there why people that, deserved people with real talent, people with real drive, we see this in our community, Jay. These are unbelievable, highly driven people. But why is it you think that some of those people that say that they are not as successful as they could be, what do you think the 2 or 3 big reasons are for that?
Well, Barry, it's not 3 reasons, it's 2. If you think there are 3 reasons, you're looking beyond where you should be looking. You're going to fail to focus on what you should focus on, and you're going to make it bigger than it really is. There's really 2 reasons why people fail. And if you can focus on those 2 reasons, you won't face failure. The first of the reasons is you must start with a plan. As all guerrillas know, a guerrilla marketing plan is only 7 sentences long.
Roger, please mute, by the way. Sorry, Jay. If we do, I think it's important we mute the line. We can hear some background noise. Sorry.
It's muted. It's muted.
Okay, tell me when you can't hear me and interrupt me. But I was saying that there's 2 reasons, not 3. Most marketers are unsuccessful. Actually, there's probably 200. But the 2 main reasons why people fail is they fail to start with a very simple plan. That's so easy. Anybody can start with a very simple plan. And that's why a lot of people enter marketing with a spirit of optimism because they've got a great plan. But here's the reason the vast majority of them fail, because they fail to pay attention to the second reason. And the second reason is that once you've got that plan, you've got to commit to that plan. As we keep saying, it doesn't happen in a hurry. It requires commitment. What makes a marriage work? Commitment. What makes a person succeed at the marathon that they started running? Commitment. It is all about commitment. And you often can strengthen your commitments if you have a resource to help you, to stand behind you, like a mentor. This is important for them to have that kind of a resource because it's hard for a lot of people to go it alone. They need some sort of backup, but not necessarily. I never had the backup. But you've got to have a resource to answer your questions and help you commit. Commitment is a very important thing. It doesn't happen. Obviously, it doesn't happen in a hurry. But if you have the commitment, eventually it will work. If you go over the list of the most successful companies, brands in the world, none of them became successful in a hurry. They happened because it was a good idea to begin with, and then they committed to that plan. And they stayed with it, and sometimes if they faltered, they talked to their mentor, they talked to their resource to help answer their questions. But the important thing, which is the hard thing, which is why most people fail, is they failed at the second reason, which is commitment. The 2 points in succeeding with marketing, not most of the time, but all the time, is number 1, starting with a plan, a simple plan, and number 2, committing to that plan. How difficult is that? The reason guerrilla marketing has become so successful is because it's so darn simple. A simple plan and the commitment to that plan. And I think that you and Roger, I speak to you, Barry, that you and Roger are a vital part of this equation. If you can help them commit, you can probably also help them with their plan. But a simple plan shouldn't be that difficult for somebody. Committing is difficult. That's why so many businesses fail. And businesses succeed because they are patient enough to practice commitment and often lucky enough or resourceful enough to have somebody to help them and to help bolster that wall of commitment they have put up into the world. Look at the brands that exist right now. They went through those 2 things. They started with a plan. They committed to that plan. So easy for me to say this here, But in real life, when you're home alone in front of your computer or with your family, commitment is not nearly that easy. Commitment happens over time. Yes, it can happen in your underwear. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It matters how good you are at hanging in there, sticking with your plan, and staying with it and being consistent all along.
Jay, we spent hours, literally hours, discussing this in your home, and when we went out together, the importance of building a plan. And I've learned that from you, and it's so ingrained. Every time that we've created a Guerrilla program, the first thing that we do is to go over the 7-point marketing plan and to go into great detail as to what it is people need to think about in order to write their 7-part plan. Now, if I remember the story correctly, I just want to put this into context for people. If I'm not mistaken, Jay, in Berkeley, am I incorrect with my trying to figure the history here? But Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, I believe, were students of yours. You taught them at some point in Berkeley. And that 7-point plan that you created, in fact, Guerrilla Marketing, the book itself, came about as a response to the questions that you're getting from your students that you were teaching there at university. Is that correct?
That's correct, Barry, but also they realized the importance of what I was talking about, the simplicity of it. So not only did they take my class, but Bill Gates brought me out to Washington to give a 7 or a 9-week course privately to Microsoft. Steve Jobs did it in Cupertino for Apple. They realized it's hard to get this done in a 1-hour talk or a 1-hour call. They wanted me to come out and talk to them in detail, which wasn't that much detail. As I say, 7 or 9 weeks, that's all it was, once a week. So I'd go to Cupertino, which I could drive to, or to Redmond, Washington, which I could fly to, and I could continue teaching them what they needed to know. And guess what? They learned it. And then the most important thing is they did it. And they are enormously successful, not really because of anything I did or anything they did, but because of their ability to commit to a plan and learn more about it. And more about it doesn't mean it's endless, because it isn't endless. It has a beginning, a middle, and it has an end. But they wanted to have more for their mental ammunition. So that's why they flew me out there. So the truth is, yes, they were in my classes, and yes, I was able to help them in person, but I helped them even more so when I went out to their place. They just realized this is too important to try to build a company on a 1-hour course or one-time course. So it is a matter of that first time and then continuing time, just a matter of a few weeks. But that's what helped them do it. And, of course, the key that they did is they acted upon the information they learned. They knew guerrilla marketing is not a spectator sport. It's not a theory. It's something you do. It's all about action, and they took that action.
That's pretty phenomenal. I mean, what we're learning here, and this is perhaps bring Roger back onto the call here. Roger, if you could unmute yourself. What we have here is the backbone of creating a successful individual business or building a billion-dollar company is the same backbone. It's the same concepts. We've seen that. The mistakes that, as Jay goes through the mistakes that people make, I'm having flashbacks here. Trying to go for the home runs when I should have gone for just the initial stages and building a business from scratch. When Jay talks about building a plan and creating commitment, how many times did I go from one thing to another and as a result fell dismally, being told by everyone around me, Roger, that I'm just flunking and that I'm not cut out for this. And you know what? They were right because I was doing it wrong. But what they didn't understand and what I didn't understand until I had that conversation with Jay a few years ago that changed absolutely everything is that if you can get down to the basics, the core, the real core of building a business, anything is possible. And I think this is just so powerful. I know, again, this may not be what people want to hear, Roger, right? People want to hear quick fire strategy. But you need to get to the core, and this really is so fundamental.
Yeah, and I mean, internet marketing, there really are only a few core things that you need to understand and know and plan out, and then as long as you've got the focus and the commitment and, you're in the right marketplace, I think everything, as long as, again, as you're focusing, you're in there, you're committed, and you're doing it, I think that really things start to snowball, and we've seen that, right? We had a plan when we started this, and all of our other businesses as well, and we just committed to it and sort of, stopped getting information overload. And what Jay said are the two, I think, really great reasons for a lack of success in a business. It's great stuff for sure.
Ron is saying, no, this is exactly what I want to hear. Well, I tell you what, Ron, the majority of people, sophisticated people that are ready for success, absolutely are listening to every word that Jay has to say, and they're writing it down. I know the line isn't perfect, but this is a marketing legend we got here. There's no messing around here. We're getting straight to the chase. And really sophisticated people are taking notes and understand this is absolutely critical. All right, Jay, let's move on. And I'd like to take this now to the positive level. And again, if people have questions that are relating to this conversation, please write in. I'm not sure you very often get the opportunity to ask a question directly to Jay. So this really is really important. And Roger, just for you and I, people are enjoying it when we mute the line because it seems to be helping the line overall. Okay, on a positive slant and positive angle, Jay, let's talk positively. What are the 2 to 3 steps that you absolutely fundamentally believe every single person on this call should be taking to become either, if they're not successful, to become successful, or if they are already successful, to become uber successful? What are the 2 or 3 action steps that you're telling people right now, these are the things you should be doing at the end of this call?
There's only 2 things again. I know, and people eventually learn this, that marketing is successful the fewer things you have to do. It's not a matter of doing a lot of things. It's a matter of doing just a few things. One of which is once you've got an idea, once you're committing to it, and it's not working, you are, if you're a human being, you're going to be tempted to change what you are doing. That's the opposite of being consistent. Consistency is one of the secrets of success, but consistency is not the right thing for impatient people. That's something that isn't in their vocabulary, being consistent. And yet that's one of the big secrets of success. You've got the idea, you're committing to the idea, then you've got to be consistent. Don't change the idea around. Stay with the idea of being consistent. And that's what most people don't. Again, they don't know how to be consistent. They think, well, excuse me, I brought a cough back from Chicago through this phone call. I'm glad I cannot transmit it cellularly. Still, you've got to be consistent, and you've got to stay with your idea no matter what. And it's the no matter what part that separates the guerrillas from the non-guerrillas. If you're consistent with the right idea over time, it's not going to have a chance to do anything except succeed. Again, mentors can help you do that. If you've got the right mentor, guys like Roger and Barry have done this. You've fought these battles and you've lost enough to the point that now you no longer lose, you win. You understand the importance of what I'm saying, and you've put them into practice and you've lived them yourself. That's why you're so darn qualified to be a mentor. Most people can't find a mentor, or they use their parents or their teachers or their bosses as their mentors. For the most part, those are not good mentors unless they're Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, and half of those guys are gone now. But there are other mentors out there. There are guys like Roger, there are guys like Barry who have what it takes to be a mentor. And I think anybody on this call should consider themselves blessed to be able to have somebody, role models like that, and help them in the quest for making their dreams come true. It's not a matter of learning a lot of things from a lot of people, but learning the right things from the right people. I consider the people on this call to be blessed because in Roger and Barry, they've got the right people. I think it's super that you guys are offering your expertise and your time to help others. That's a noble thing, and gorillas are very good at giving things away and doing the right thing and doing the noble thing. So that's one of the things that makes a call like this very special to me, because I'm not talking to people who think they have all the answers. I'm talking to people who know for sure they have some of the answers. And as long as you offer some of the answers, you don't need a lot of them. You just need a few of them.
Wow, I'm taken aback by that, Jay. I really do appreciate those words. And oh my gosh, Roger, I mean, how many flashbacks are you having right now of when we didn't live up to that? You know, when we first started off, we thought, you know, we could build everything. We got the world at our oyster. It's internet marketing. Then you suddenly come crushing down. You realize, oh my goodness, I need to know. I know what I'm good at, but there are things that I'm not good at, and I need to find those answers to those questions, and I need to find the right people to do it. Jay, the truth is that I've been going everywhere seeking answers, high and low, at tremendous expense. Again, when I focused on listening to what you had to say and got down to the core messages, everything opened up for me. Roger, I know your experience is rather similar. Roger,
Yeah, I mean,
you
big
are.
time. And, there is a lot of, there we go. Yeah, absolutely, big time. And thanks for the kind words. I actually feel blessed that, you're here on the call with us and you're sharing this. But yes, I do believe that, there is a lot of information overload. There's so much stuff coming at you constantly. And if you're not, focused on a few key core things, one market, you're not consistent, if you don't follow through, really that's what will get you every time, because as soon as that fear, and if you're not self-confident, you can't go through with it. As soon as a new shiny object comes around, you're jumping on the next thing. So you're never really accomplishing anything. So that's powerful stuff for sure.
That leads us, in fact, to a question Jamie, Linda are asking. It's a critical question. And by the way, Roger, I've never had so many compliments from people when I mute the line. They're happy when we shut up, and that's perfect, because we don't need to talk when Jay's around. But anyway, let's get. I mean, it leads us to the question, Jay, that Roger just brought up. Jamie's asking this question. Linda's asking this question. A bunch of other people asking the same question. Jay, there are so many products and programs and gurus and experts out there. There's information overload in the internet marketing sphere on every imaginable topic and every imaginable roadblock, whether it's traffic, conversion, building a site. It's just endless. Jay, what is your best advice for someone that feels overwhelmed? In many cases, people are buying a lot of product. They're not even going through the courses that they're buying, and they get lost and they don't know where to start, and they end up not creating anything. What is your best advice with all those years of experience for people that are suffering from this? And I know it is mentally an anguishing situation to be in, but what's your best advice for people like that?
My best advice, Barry, is to find yourself a mentor, a person who's been through that minefield of too much information before and knows how to pick their way to the safe course to success. I think that it's harder than ever to be successful these days because there's so much information out there. The majority of it is bad information. One of the reasons that I've been gravitating to teach Barry, to teach you what you know, is because you have taken the time to learn which are the winners, which are the losers, which are the ones that are going to blow up in a person's face, and which are going to propel them to success. You're also a person, Barry, who, and this is going to be true for all the people who are destined for success on this call, you're a person who goes beyond learning and enters the realm of doing. You talked about a lot of things when we first met. A lot of them sounded good, but you have trod the path to find out the winners from the losers. You have actually implemented the ideas that we have talked about. Blows me away, Barry, because I meet a lot of guys who excuse me again, who know a lot of things, but they don't take the time to implement them. And these things don't belong in the realm of theory. They belong in the realm of action. And you always took action. And you weren't afraid to fail, although you didn't fail much, but you took action all the time. I thought this dude is destined for success because he takes the time to implement the ideas that he learns. And I don't want to make this into a love fest for Barry, but that's what I've seen. And you flew across the ocean to come here and learn firsthand about guerrilla marketing. That's a lot harder than reading a book or two books or taking a course. You've actually taken the time to meet with me and learn what I know, and learn that it's a lot more. It has a lot more to do with life than business. It has a whole lot more to do with truth than theory. And you've done those things, and that very impresses me no end about you, because I meet a lot of people who know what you know but don't do what you do. That's why you've risen to the top.
Wow. I mean, I just, can I share just a little story? Roger, you know this. It's embarrassing, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think it benefits people listening in. You mentioned how, there's just a load of rubbish out there. I mean, if you knew how much money I spent when I thought I had a decent product, and the problem was, by the way, it wasn't a great product. This is when I was starting out before I met you, Jay. When I thought I had a decent product, I thought the way I need to solve it, because that's what everyone's telling me, it's all about copy. It's all about copywriting. So I went and got, and I'm ashamed to say this, literally we spent $7,000 on a world-leading copywriter to write the biggest load of nonsense that I've ever seen. It was nonsense because the product was nonsense. And if that person had told me, guys, this isn't going to work, I can't write copy and sell complete nonsense. There's no hook here. There's nothing here to talk with. If he had told me the truth, yes, he would have lost $7,000. But you know what? I would have gone back to him again and again and again. And Roger, again, just flashbacks going through my mind, I'm sure through yours as well. Getting caught up in this trap of following and listening to nonsense. I mean, if there's one thing that people take off this call, that is the consistency, not just in your actions, but also consistency that you are not jumping all over the place looking for the next shiny object where it doesn't exist, right? Truth exists. Principles that have worked for hundreds of years exist, but getting rich in your underwear type of schemes, it doesn't really work. Anyway, Roger, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right, and we went through this, and it's not fun. It's not a good experience. I just also wanted to say that it is the first time, me and Barry have done multiple webinars. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. I would say probably 200 webinars together, and it's the first time I ever hear the word Love Fest and Barry on the same webinar. So that's pretty funny to me. So good job there, Jay.
Thank you, Roger. I knew you'd have to get that in. Anyway, I just want to point out, Cedric, I know you've had a very difficult week, and you're on this webinar. You're taking action. I just want to say on behalf of the whole community, he's had a very tragic week this week, and wrote a very, very poignant post there on Facebook. So I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. But first of all, welcome. He's taking massive action. Jay, this is a guy that unfortunately this week lost his mother, and decided that he was basically had to take action. Physically, he wanted to go to a gym, and when he was there, he actually fell into a business opportunity. And this is someone that's picked himself up from nowhere, from a very difficult situation. I just wanted to acknowledge that he's here and thank him for being here. All right, let's move on. This is really, really amazing stuff. Okay, Frank Stewart asked a great question, Jay, and we're going to call upon every ounce of your knowledge and the last 60 years you've been doing this stuff. He's saying right now we're living, and I'm paraphrasing, we're living in a very torrid times, difficult markets out there, very difficult economy. What do you think today, Jay, with the present state of the economy, what's a good market to go into? What are bad markets to go into? What advice do you have for people saying, you know what, the economy's so bad, I'm despondent? Is it still possible to make a significant income in the present situation? If so, what's the right market to be functioning in?
In every economy, Barry, in every economic situation, some businesses fail, other businesses succeed. It's not a matter of everybody fails and nobody succeeds. It's a matter that some succeed and some fail. And during a down economy, it's crucial for Guerrilla to learn what changes they might make to be one of the winners. And to be realistic, the plans they had at the beginning might not work now, but the plans that they alter might be able to work. Just realize that during some economies, multi-billion-dollar companies are founded and flourish, and they continue to flourish because the people had the right kind of attitude. They had the right kind of mindset. They knew that people don't really fail. People quit trying. And in a down economy, people are tempted to quit trying, and that means they pretty much give up on their chances for success. My advice is to keep your eyes open, look around, pay attention to those businesses that do succeed, and don't quit trying. As you all know, during any economic cycle, there's going to be a beginning and a middle and an end to it. And this economic cycle we're having now seems to be endless, but it's not endless. It's going to continue. It's going to get better. And in the meantime, a lot of people are making a lot of money. It's all about your attitude. It's all about your mindset. When Michael Jordan played in the playoffs in the late 1990s with the Chicago Bulls and his team won, he got very, very sick. He had a terrible case of the flu, and he could barely walk, and his teammates had to help him had to help him play, had to help him stay on the floor, and yet his team went ahead to win the world championship. It was because he didn't allow the idea of failure to enter his mind. Right now, during this recession, a lot of people allow the idea of failure to enter their minds. You can't focus on the failure, or that's where you're going to end up. You've got to focus instead on what you think it takes to succeed and continue doing those things. I saw LeBron James in the playoffs the other night. He couldn't stand anymore. His cramps were so bad they had to carry him off the floor, put him on the bench. But they brought him back on the floor, and not only was he able to play, he was able to score winning baskets. That's because he never let the idea of failure enter his mind. It just wasn't part of what he could conceive of. Well, I told my wife today when we were talking about the economy that when I wrote my first few books, I never questioned whether or not they'd be successful. The goals I had for them was to help the people who thought they should be suffering from a down economy. I knew what I had to do. I knew what I had to say. I knew what these people had to learn, and I went ahead and said it. I never allowed myself to think that this information would not be right for them. I knew it was the right information to put forth. Like LeBron James knew he had to get back on the floor and score baskets and not give thought to the pain of the cramps in his feet. And Michael Jordan didn't want to give thought to the flu. People who fail focus on the things that are going to bring them to failure. People who succeed ignore those things and keep moving on. And I think during a bad economy, and when has there not been a bad economy? During every economic session of our planet, there have been down economies and terrible times and depressing things and a shortage of money. But some people manage to rise to the top, and those are the people who don't focus on the bad economy. They're the ones who focus on the new opportunities. So there always are new opportunities. And God knows you guys are sure offering the people on this call a myriad of opportunities for them to ignore this recession and just move on ahead by focusing on what Guerrillas focus on, which is how to succeed and not why people fail.
Wow. And I think, if I may say so, and Roger, our experience here, that there really is a connection between all these things, Jay. You know, as someone that lacks the confidence, they're looking at the negative side of the economy because, again, they're a little bit lost and they don't know exactly what they have to offer. You understood clearly when you wrote Guerrilla Marketing exactly what you were built to write. You knew what the people had to hear, and you went head down and wrote that book that changed marketing forever. You understood that. Most people, unfortunately, because they don't have a clarity or vision, they don't have the right mindset. And, maybe it's a bit of both. There's a bad mindset because they don't have the clarity, or they lack clarity and therefore they get a bad mindset. And then it's this vicious circle that envelopes people like that. In the end, it just goes, they sit around wasting time by their computer, not achieving anything. Again, I hate to say it, Roger, but I know I was there, and I'm pretty sure that you were there as well at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really hitting home, and I'm getting, it's emotional. I get it. A lot of you, we're getting your messages right now, guys, and me and Barry understand you, and we understand where you're coming from because we were certainly once there. So very powerful.
That's amazing. Okay, all right. Matthew is asking. Matthew, just to let you know, Matthew Newnham is. This is a person that takes massive action. Really takes action. Someone that we're very proud of. Anyway, he's asking, if you are sitting in front of a client or sitting in front of a prospect, what do you think are the things that you as a guerrilla marketer should be highlighting, either about yourself, your business, your product? What is it that a person should really be focusing on when he's talking to his prospects, when he's talking to his clients, so that he could generate a long-term relationship that's likely to lead to more sales as opposed to just a one-off deal? And I know I added to your question there, Matthew, but I hope I handed it over to Jay accurately as well. Jay, what are your thoughts on that? The one or two or three things that you would highlight as a guerrilla to your prospects and clients?
Barry, you always say one or two or three things, and I keep wanting to say one or two things or one thing. I think they should be focusing on the person they're talking to. They should be listening, spending all their time listening and attempting to understand, not talking about themselves, not focusing on what they're good at, but listening to what the other person is telling them. Because the biggest thing you can offer a person is a solution to their problem. You're not going to understand their problem unless you ask them questions and dig deep and try to learn what it is that's bothering them, what they think their weaknesses are, or maybe if they have strengths and they're wrong, why those are wrong. But don't talk about yourself. Don't think about yourself. Think about them. Talk about them. Focus on them. Because the more you focus on them, the more they'll be able to focus upon them. The more they'll be able to see what you can see, because you're coming at it from the perspective of a new person, a fresh, unblemished perspective. They probably have been reading the newspapers and paying attention to the bad news and see what they're doing that's not working. I'd like instead for them to just talk about themselves, and then believe me, they will find out just in self-examination how they may be failing, where you might come in to be able to help them. And they're going to listen to everything you say because you've been listening to them. And they know you're not giving them a store-bought answer. You're giving them an answer that's focused upon them. And when I wrote the books that I've written, I never thought about myself, not for 1 second. Every sentence I wrote was focused on the people reading the book, what their problems are, and what I can do to help solve those problems. And it was not a matter of me talking about me or even about guerrilla marketing. It was talking about them and about reality. As I say, guerrilla marketing is way broader than marketing. It's about life on Earth. It's about reality as it is right now today. And that changes all the time. That's why the world belongs to the guerrilla, because the guerrilla is flexible. The guerrilla is adaptive. The guerrilla is solution-oriented. A guerrilla does not dare sell people what people want. People don't know what they want. They sell them what they need. Henry Ford was talking to Bill Gates to Steve Jobs, and he was complaining that He listens to his customers all the time. He's not sure if that's the right thing. What did Gates think? Or what did Jobs think? Steve Jobs said, "Oh, what do you think? What is your market telling you?" He says, "Well, they're telling me they want a faster car or a speedier horse. How about you?" And Steve Jobs said, "I don't think about what they want. I think about what they need, because for the most part, people don't know what they want. But I know what they need." And that's what it's all about. Don't let your customer define your market for you, because it's going to be narrow or pessimistic, or it's going to be unworkable. Don't let them define your market for you, because they're not the ones who are offering successes. You are. Find out. You know what they need. I hope you know what they need. Give them that, not what they want, because they don't know what they want, or they wouldn't be needing you. They need you to tell them, to show them what they need, and you'll only learn that if you let them talk and focus your conversation upon them. Find out what they need. Then you're going to get to the crux of the problem, to the key to success.
Wow. And of course, with the internet, that's easier. I mean, it's easier, but there are challenges with it than ever, because the ability to listen, active listening, and formulating a relationship online. No one's doing this, Jay. I mean, unfortunately, it's just the state of internet marketing today, and I hope I'm not sounding negative in that regard, but I think everyone on this call, most people would probably agree with me, is that you feel you go into some sort of program, and then the goal of it is just for the marketer to make as much money out of you and suck as much money out of you as possible. And the relationship building is limited, and even then it's for a purpose. And I've always found one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned is, I think I'm a decent person, right? I don't claim to be a great person or anything, but I'm a decent person like everyone else on this call. But I didn't realize that if only I could put my personality into my business, then suddenly I would have a very successful business. I see this so often, these people emulating the gurus, that suddenly they're different people in their business. And as a result, they found it very difficult to build a significant business. The reason, Roger, and I don't tire from saying this, the reason why I felt that we were a great fit is because I saw, using one of our own words here, I thought you were a mensch. You were a good person. I thought if this person is like this in this context, I know he would treat clients the right way. He would treat prospects the right way. And as a result of that understanding of relationship, the importance of relationship building, I was confident about what we were going to build together, and it's been absolutely unbelievable ever since. But Roger, again, we've met the charlatans, and we've experienced those types of people that are here today and gone tomorrow, and it's no way to build a long-term successful business, is it?
Barry, you just caught me. I have no electricity at my house right now. It disconnected me. So sorry, everyone, if you lost my screen there. I'm actually on my cell phone's internet connection. So I didn't get that. I just got back online. I'm very sorry.
Don't worry. Just say I agree, and then we can move on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
I agree, Barry. I agree.
Okay, perfect.
I can.
Tom wants to make sure you paid the bill, Roger. That's the problem there with the electricity. Okay. Okay. So, Jay, let's summarize this. There's so many questions, and obviously we're going to want to bring you back. And I think first of all I can say to you, Jay, is this has just been absolutely phenomenal. And again, the reason why I thought it's important to have this meeting, this conversation with our clients is very simple. We wanted them to understand the concepts and the real fundamentals of what it means to be successful. And I know we can go a lot deeper, and we can spend hours upon hours. And we did it together when I was in Florida in your house. But this has been phenomenal. Just let everyone know before you sign off, Jay. Don't forget, there's two big things coming up. We're talking about the 4 big roadblocks, and Jay, you've already touched upon those. We're going to be talking about the 4 big roadblocks, which is absolutely critical for people to listen to. And of course, at the end, we're going to talk about how someone on this call in our community would be able to spend an hour with you one-on-one, which I don't think you can put a price tag on. So anyway, first of all, Jay, for your contribution in this conversation, on behalf of everyone, a very big thank you. You guys, are you still there? Roger, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I guess we just lost Jay as well.
Yeah, I think we just lost Jay.
Jay, are you there?
I think Jay's disappeared.
I
there he is.
I don't know how that happened. It's so that technology would always think it is.
But anyway, again, Jay, just if you didn't hear me, again, on behalf of everyone, thank you very much for your time and everything that you've contributed to the session. And, there's a lot more coming from you. We're going to be discussing that in a second as well. So again, for the time being, at least, thank you very much.
Well, I'll look forward to more, Barry. This is always fun for me because I know the people who you have on this call are going to take action upon what I've said. And maybe we'll be talking about them if you talk about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Michael Dell and the guys who are running Hewlett-Packard. They all started out as amateurs and they learned. And these people who are taking their valuable time to be on this phone call, I think they'll be motivated to learn. I'm rooting for them. I'll be around for them and for you.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that very much.